The Everyday Skirt Sew-Along, a new pattern for AngelaKane.com members. Non-members can buy it from the 408 pattern page. We are now ready to join on the waistband. I have overlocked the long edge on the opposite side to the dots. A zigzag stitch would be fine. I have also pressed in the fold along the length. The pleats are tacked in position so that they don't shift about. We will match the centre fronts and the dots to pleats and seams. So working from the skirt side, match and pin small dots to pleats, large dots to seams. When you come to the side panels, match the dots and we will distribute the fullness of the skirt between by pinning. This is the fullness above the hip. So continue matching and pinning. This is the underlap of the waistband opening. Distribute the gathering by roughly finding the middles and pinning. And again, each side continuing pinning as you go. There is quite a lot of fullness. It doesn't have to be that even. Little pleats and tucks are okay. Do the same the other side. This end will line up with the centre back. Baste all in place and remove all pins before machining. Always remove tailor tacks and basting as soon as they are no longer needed. That looks much better. So tweezers are useful for tidying up, and also a small pair of scissors. Everything is coming together nicely. Next, we need to trim this seam. As always, it is better to grade the seam allowance. That is, trim it differing amounts so that you don't get a ridge. This seam will be pressed up towards the waistband. Make sure you just press the waistband. You want to avoid pressing the skirt pleats. Press on a sleeve board if you have one. Next, we will finish the ends. Fold right sides together, folding up this little bit of seam allowance. Make sure you are folding along the middle line of the waistband. Machine along here, trim and mitre the corner and turn through. At the other end of the waistband, the underlap, again make sure you fold along the middle line. Stitch down and along the bottom edge, part of the way, but stopping just short of the dot. This is to give you room to turn through. The last little bit can be hand stitched. From here, the seam allowance is basted in position and is finished by stitching in the ditch from the right side. Nearly finished. So to trimming, grading the seam, mitring corners, turning through the ends, be careful not to push too hard, just gentle nudging. This is quite a useful tool for corners, but scissors do as well. Make sure you keep track of the middle line of the waistband. Baste from this side, then stitch in the ditch from the front. The waistband is looking very neat. With this corduroy, stitching in the ditch is easy and the stitches are completely lost in the pile. To close, we will sew on a trouser bar and hook, or hooks and hand-worked loops. The hem remains to be finished. As always, try on your skirt and check that it measures evenly from the floor up. So pin up 1.5 inches or 4 centimeters all round. Before you do, trim a little of the seam allowance at the panel seams. Overlock or zigzag the edge. We will baste and blind hem. For the lining hem, fold up 1/2 inch or 1 centimeter all round and press. You can probably do this by eye without pinning and basting. Then fold up a further 1 inch or 4 centimeters, pin, baste and machine, and then press. So if you are blind stitching by machine, always pin, then baste, and make sure you remove all pins before machining. The same with the lining. Pin, then baste the hem, and machine after removing all pins. See my link to sewing safety. Check out my sewing supplies page for buying this little gauge. I am always being asked about it. The 408 everyday skirt is completely finished. I am very pleased with it, and I'm sure you will be too. The hem is very neat. This corduroy is so easy to work with. I've added hooks and eyes and hand-stitched loops. A press stud to keep the underlap in place. If you would like to make up this skirt, visit my site angelakane.com. The pattern is drafted in UK sizes 6 to 22. My PDF patterns are the easiest to download, print and assemble. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. Thank you very much for watching this sew along. I hope it was useful.